Welcome back, Eagle fans, to this week's edition of the Mike Fuller Show. The Eagles are coming off an open week, getting ready for district play after their wonderful victory over the Bridgeport Bulls. Coach, how was your open week?
It was a very good open week. You know, we talked last week about it not being a week off, but,
Got it right.
but a work week. You know, I think our kids attacked it in the right way. We got better at some fundamentals and some things we just needed to spend a little bit more time with. We also got an opportunity to rest up and heal up. You know, we had some guys banged up, and we'll have a few back, and you know, some are a little bit closer to being back, but you know, it's always nice to have that. I'm the kind of coach that wherever our open week falls, I'm gonna sell it like that's the best possible place for it. But truthfully, where it is with 5 non-district games, starting a 5-game district season, it couldn't have come at a better time or a better place. So we're excited about getting into the real game, so to speak, the ones that really count for the district race, and we've got a good opponent coming up.
Well, it does come at a good time, and I know that you're rested and locked and loaded for the new season. And you know, we've got Burke Burnett, the Bulldogs, Friday night here at home. What can you tell us about Burke Burnett?
Well, first of all, Burke Burnett is a proud program. They're a team that is big. They've got some real thick, strong kids. And a lot of playmakers. They've got some guys that can really run and fly around. On the scoreboard, they've kind of struggled. They're 1-4, but if you just watch the film, which was pretty much what we do to evaluate and put a game plan together, if you just watch the film and that's all you really know, don't know the score, you wouldn't think they were struggling that way record-wise. So they're going to definitely be a team that we've got to be at our best to beat. They run an offense that people frankly just don't see very often anymore. It's a triple option attack, and they're really good at it. It's kind of a wishbone set with broken bone tight slots. But if we don't play assignment football on defense, and we start looking and thinking we know where the ball is, and it could be a long night. So we've really worked hard on making sure we know our assignments, and when we have pitch, when we have dive, when we have quarterback, and I think we'll be ready for Friday night.
Well, you know, back to the open week concept, and you talked about fundamentals. What was your schedule like in the week when you didn't have a game coming up on Friday? Did you just work on your basic stuff, or just kind of give us a little bit more detail about how y'all worked during the open week?
Well, we had 3 practices during the week, and one of those got cut short because of lightning, which really, in hindsight, it was probably best. We just needed a little bit more rest. We treat Monday like it's a Saturday. We watch our film, we lift weights, and we just kids have the weekend off. Our first practice is just a generic one. It's basically individual and just technique work, and just cleaning up some of the things that you run short on. You know, when you're putting a game plan together, you kind of run short on time to really hit on the fundamentals. So it's like a spring ball, so to speak, or 2-a-days type practice. The next practice was sort of the same, but we started to introduce a little bit about what we're going to do, what kind of wrinkles we might see from Burke Burnett, and what we're going to do. All of our trick plays, we're planning on running against them.
It's going to be mostly trick plays.
Mostly trick plays. Yes, we had a week to work on.
You let Roman draw up a few?
Yeah, we took requests at lunch from the student body, so it should be exciting. It'll be a good game to come to.
Well, I know that you as a coach, and I'm around the coaches enough to know how much y'all work and how much time y'all put in, and even especially on the weekends, and it's rare that you would have a Thursday, a Friday, when you didn't have games to go to. So what did you do on a Thursday and Friday and a weekend that you had an open week?
Well, Thursday I actually got to go see a football game.
Imagine that.
My dad is still coaching. He's a secondary coach at Keller High School. And one of my best friends in the world is the head coach there, Carl Strelo, and I hadn't had a chance to see him play since he's been the head coach. We used to work together for years, but I went to watch that game. And that was a lot of fun. And then on Friday night we had some of our coaches go and watch some future possible playoff opponents because all of our district was off, and I went to watch the Lady Eagles play the Castleberry Lions in volleyball.
Right. And the Lady Eagles prevailed.
Oh yes.
Coach, it's time for you to be on the hot seat. Another one of my favorite segments, the Around the Town question for Coach Fuller. Here it is.
Coach, my name is Jerry Joyner, and I would like to know when you were the very most proud of your team, wherever you've ever coached as a head coach or assistant or whatever, and you came from behind to win and you just were busting out with pride that your boys did so well. I'd love to hear that story. Thanks.
Wow, that's a great question. And there's so many over the years. You know, we've had a year at Colleyville Heritage where we were 2 or more touchdowns down in 5 of the games that we won during the year. So that was pretty exciting. I'm gonna tell really 2 stories. One, in 2000 at Coppell, we started the season off with a lot of injuries, and we lost our first 3 games of the year. I think by a combined total of about 10 points, and that was to South Lake Carroll and to Highland Park and to a really good Jesuit team that year. And so things did not look good, but that team turned it around in that season. It was kind of a comeback in the season, and had a deep run in the playoffs and a really good district championship, and you know, all the things that come with a great season. So that was a group that I was really proud of. Of course, I'm proud of all of them. But as far as an individual comeback goes, and I don't remember the year, maybe it was 2010, I think, might have been 2009, but we were playing Duncanville when I was at Colleyville Heritage at Pizza Hut Park, first game of the year, really talented Duncanville team. We gave up a touchdown with 59 seconds left in the game to go down 38-24. So it's not really looking good when you're down 14 points with less than a minute left. But we kept fighting, and I told the kids, you know, we're gonna keep fighting, and we got a chance, but we really need to return this kickoff for a touchdown. And sure enough, we did. We had a young man named Trey Garner who got the kickoff, returned it 96 yards for a touchdown. There's probably 42 seconds left on the clock after he scored. We got the onside kick. We had 1 timeout, and with about 1 second left, actually it was before they changed the rule. There's 0.3 seconds on the clock, and we spiked it to kill the clock to get off one more play. We threw a touchdown pass to tie it on the as the horn was blowing off. So it was a pretty exciting comeback. That tied it, and then we went triple overtime and won that game 58-52. So as far as the least likely wins, that's probably it. But I've had a lot of individual performances and particular games that we came back from big deficits. I'm proud of every group, and I'm more proud of them for who they are and how they work and what kind of teammates they are than results on the field. But I appreciate your question, and I hope that answered it.
I remember you telling me about that game. You know, it's times like that, Coach, that I imagine that you can pick a few experiences from your past to use as real-life examples of some of the messages about not giving up and not quitting,
Right.
to teach to your kids in football and in life.
Right. Those are great stories, and you know, pretty much in coaching, you draw on stories from the past. You draw on kids that overcame obstacles. You draw on teams that overcame big deficits or injuries or you know, tough stretches during their season and made it work out. So you know, those are good memories and good stories to tell.
Well, it's awesome to be able to draw on them, because I know that when you're 17 years old, it probably just sounds like coach speak and cliches, but as you get older like us, you realize it's the truth.
Right.
And that's awesome.
It's nice when you have a video to prove it.
That's true. Well, Coach, now it's time to talk about the past. The Remember When in Decatur football segment, and this week it is from one Kevin Haney.
Hello there, I'm Kevin Haney, class of 78, and the topic is, I remember when I played football at DHS. My senior year, we started the year Jacksboro, Bowie was in our district. All three of us were ranked in the top 10 in the state. So it was a very tough district that year. Jacksboro beat Bowie, then we beat Bowie, set up a big showdown between the only two undefeated teams. Jacksboro ended up winning that one 16-13. And back in the olden days, only one team got to go into the playoffs. So Decatur got to stay home that year. Sure would have liked to have the 2, 3, or 4 team out of a district situation where we would have got to go on and play longer, but Jacksboro went on into the playoffs, and we stayed there, finished the year out ranked top in the top 10 in the state, but had to stay home. But that's a sad story from my days at DHS.
Man, what a bummer.
Oh, that is awful. Mr. Haney, thank you for your story. I hate that there's a lot of stories like that, you know, from people that played back when only team went. You know, I think it was a great thing that the UIL did, expanding it to 2 teams and then to 3 and now on to 4. And there's been multiple stories of a lot of years where that team that got in, you know, as the last qualifier that actually won a state championship. I remember early on when 5A started taking 3 teams, and people were up in arms about it, and a district from San Antonio had the 2nd and 3rd place team from one district, both won state championships because of the Division I and Division II deal. But you know, it gives more kids an opportunity to compete in the playoffs, and it gives you a chance. You know, it helps teams that may have an injury here or there, or you know, maybe not be at their best. It helps you to be peaking at the right time. But I feel for you. I hate that happens. You know, I know even today there's some districts that are so tough and so stacked that 5th place team could have made a long run in the playoffs. But that's just the way it goes now. But thank you for your story, and I hope that we can make you proud this year.
You know, I love this segment because whether the stories are joyful or disappointing, it's proof that Texas high school football to these kids matters when they're 16 and 17, and they're going to be talking about it for the rest of their life.
Right.
And it's a great thing.
Right, it is. It matters.
Well, Coach, that'll do it for this week's show.
Yep.
Thanks everybody for tuning in, and remember, this Friday, your Eagles against the Burke-Burnett Bulldogs, 7:30 at Eagle Stadium, ready to start district play and a march to the playoffs. And remember, Eagle fight
Never dies.
Thanks for watching.